When you review your chess games, are you tired of seeing this, or this, or this? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 5 tips that can help you stop blundering in chess. And the first tip I have is probably for those of you that are under 1,000 rated, maybe under 12 or 1,300 rated. And that is to really focus in on not hanging pieces. For those of you in this range, the majority of your blunders are probably when you hang a piece or when you miss that your opponent hung a piece. Okay, now how do we work on this? We all have experienced it where we get tunnel vision in chess. Oh my gosh, the queen was right there. I dropped my rook out of nowhere. You know how the queen moves, you just lost track of it. What I am recommending is that if you are still on a consistent basis blundering by hanging pieces, what I'm recommending is that you only focus in your chess games on not hanging a piece and on not missing when your opponent hangs one. That's all you have to be worried about. That's all you have to be worried about. Don't be worried about, oh, like what else is going on in the game? How can I get this theory, that chess opening in? Of course, you got to play openings. Of course, you got to think about strategy and stuff. But you want to see how many games in a row. How many games in a row can you play without hanging a piece and without missing that your opponent hung one? Let me show you guys an example here. Okay. So let's say we're playing, and this is only going to work for those of you that play probably rapid or higher. If you play blitz 5+3, you could probably get away with it a little bit, but the more time you have, the better in terms of actually getting this done. This isn't something that I do anymore, but this is something that if you do this for long enough, you will reach a point where it's like, you know what, I don't even need to do it right when the move is played. I'm already aware of everything that's going on. We're playing here as white, okay? The only thing you're worried about this game is not hanging a piece. Above all else, even if you lose, did you hang a piece? No? Great, good job. That was a good game. Pawn up, okay? We go pawn up. Okay, we need to think about what changed in the position here. Okay, our pawn covers d5, f5. The bishop covers these squares. The queen covers these squares. We all know that this is true. But to actually log it, to actually pay attention towards that every single move, what pieces are gaining activity, it's helpful. Now let's say black goes here. Okay, where can this knight attack now? Well, all of the following squares, including our pawn. Let's say we move our knight out. Okay, where can our knight look at? Okay, these squares. We're still keeping an eye on our bishop as well, our queen as well. We're doing a quick scan over all of our pieces and what they can attack / defend, and same for our opponent. Oh, our opponent played here. Okay, the bishop covers all of these squares. And before you make your move, before you drop a bishop somewhere, right? That's not a very good move. This is a lot better. This is better, you name it. But before you make your move, make sure that no other piece is attacking that square. And also look at all of your opponent's pieces every single turn and look at, okay, can that rook take something? No. Can the knight take something? No. Can the bishop take something? No. Okay. And keep moving on until you know that you are safe. This is very rigorous, but I'm giving you something here that I really think can help your game, because you're only going to get so far if you're hanging pieces in chess. If you stop hanging a piece, imagine if you never hung a chess piece again. Imagine if you never missed a hanging piece again. Your rating would skyrocket. It would, right? So that's the first tip that I have. Okay, now the next one is to play, and it kind of feeds into what we were just talking about, playing longer time controls. Now I'm talking about improvement here in not blundering. Now, of course, the more time you have, logically, the less you blunder, right? But what I'm saying is that, yes, if you play a longer time control, if you stop playing bullet, stop playing blitz, and you start playing rapid chess, of course you're going to hopefully blunder less in those rapid games because you have time to think. But once you get accustomed to doing what I just said, every single move, checking every single piece you're looking at it intentionally, one by one. Once you do that enough and you go back to blitz or even bullet, you're going to find yourself blundering less, right? you're going to find yourself blundering less. And when it comes to improvement in general, playing long time controls is where it's at, because that gives you time to think. It gives you time to process. When you make a mistake, you can't give yourself the excuse, which honestly might be valid, of I just didn't have time. I just made a move, right? It's bullet. I just made a move. It's blitz. I only had like a minute left. I just had to move something. No, you had time. So why did you make that mistake? Well, because I didn't see the pieces hanging, because I didn't know this endgame very well, right? Whatever it may be, now you know your weaknesses, and you're also having time to actually process, so that when you do have less time, you're already more mentally sharp and well prepared. For those of you that play the Hippopotamus defense, I am coming out with the advanced Hippopotamus defense repertoire available for pre-order. Make sure to plug in the discount code of Early Hippo, and you will get a very nice discount on that course. Only good until May 31st, 2026. And now for the next piece of advice that I have for you to stop blundering. I'm begging you guys on this one. Please stop trying to get brilliance. When you try to get brilliance, you're often making yourself blunder, because you are often taking risks where you shouldn't be. You only get a brilliant on chess.com if you sacrifice material, if you play something crazy. But most of the time in chess, that's not called for. Sometimes it is, but usually it's not. When I'm playing my games and I'm really serious about them and I'm locked in, I do not care about getting a brilliant. Some of the best chess games I've ever played, most of them actually, I don't have a single brilliant. And just because I get a brilliant doesn't mean that it was a good game. Just because I get a brilliant doesn't mean that I'm actually improving at chess. This position here, okay, this position here, we're up a piece. As you can see, I'm showing the whole chess.com board here, the whole site. We got the little +3, the little knight, right? Something black doesn't have. So we're up a piece here. When we're up a piece, we want to trade down and play safe, meaning don't take risks. There's no need to. There's no need to. You're up a piece. You're winning, right? Now, sure, if there's a forced mate and you want to sacrifice material and it's a forced mate, go ahead. Even then, if you're not sure it's a forced mate, why do it? You're up a piece. You're winning anyways. Now, if you're down material, you got to play risky. But this position here, we're up a piece. There's so many moves here that are winning for white. This is winning. This is winning. This is winning. 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 This is technically a winning move. As long as we don't drop a piece at some point, we don't let them checkmate us or promote or whatever, okay, we're going to win, right? If you know how to play the endgame well. But a lot of players here might go, you know what? Greek gift time. Let's sacrifice the bishop. Now notice what you just did. If this works out, great. Chess.com is still going to tell you that it's a blunder, but by playing this, if it doesn't work out, you just made a risk that you didn't need to take. You were up a piece. Now you're not. Now you're going to be up a pawn. Big difference there. Now, being up a pawn can still be completely winning, and it usually is, but not like a piece, right? Now, some of you, or some players really, might be thinking, okay, you know what? Here, white throws in a check. If black takes, we take. The king runs. Oh my gosh, we have another check. We have another check there. In fact, actually, we have checkmate on g4. Beautiful. Beautiful checkmate there. But that doesn't make this move good, right? We throw in a check. If black takes and we see the king end up going to g8, hey, we could go here. That's cool. The pawn goes up. Yeah, let's push this. Let's not chase that king. Let's make it so that the king can't run at all, and then look to deliver checkmate the next turn, unless of course, we see queen h4. We take, and then I don't care what you do as black. Queen h8 will be mate. But again, that doesn't make this move good. Black here can take, and when we check, black can simply run back. Not taking, activating our rook, but running back. And if we go queen h5, they have a knight ready to go to support. No longer mate. Our queen's got to run away. Can't go to g4. Can't go to f3. Can't go to h6 or h7. Right? None of those are good. So you got to run back to e2 or d1. Let's see what the engine says here. It's an even game. Right when we did this, it was about +1. Before we did that, watch this. White was way better. Okay, so Again, I'm kind of tying in some principles and some concepts here. When you're up material, play calm, right? Play calm. Don't play scared, but just play solid moves. You're up a piece. If you're down material, you got to play crazy. But even then, I don't recommend thinking about brilliance. Most of chess positions, guys, brilliance aren't available. And in this position, if you go, oh my gosh, I'm trying to get a brilliant this game, I'm going to go here, you just blundered away your advantage. Terrible mistake. Okay, so we got 3 things so far, right? We got the only focus on not hanging pieces. How many games in a row can I not hang a piece and also not miss when my opponent just hands me a knight or a bishop or whatever it may be? Number 2, play longer time controls. I think 10 plus 0 is a good place to start. Number 3, stop trying to get brilliance. Please just stop trying. It's fun when it happens, but more often than not, you're playing it at a moment where you don't need to, and that can create a blunder. And then number 4, we have the empty board visualization exercise. This is something that I made up years back. I've been doing this for years now. Maybe someone made it up before me. I don't know. But this is something that I've been doing quite a bit with a lot of students. And it's a very simple exercise. But when it comes to improving at chess, we need to get good at the basics. Master the basics. Master fundamental concepts. We don't need to kind of understand super complex concepts that usually don't come up in the game. Okay. Now, if you get to that point, that's great, but you gotta master the fundamentals first. So what we have here, you can do this on chess.com, on another website, at home, on an empty board. That honestly may be easier. Empty board here. Okay, I'm gonna go to setup position on chess.com. Okay, this is analysis. So you go over to the little weight symbol, analysis, then you go over to setup position, and then press the little trash can symbol. I usually grab one of each piece to start, so I'll put a king there, a rook here, just kind of scatter them out. Doesn't matter if it's white pieces or black, but all the same color, that does matter. And okay, there we go. So we're going up, which only matters for the pawn. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna highlight every single square that is not attacked. So this kind of ties in with a visualization exercise. It ties in with not blundering pieces because you're gonna have better visualization of the whole board. What do we do here? Right? Well, we're going to highlight every single square not attacked. You could do this rank by rank, file by file, but we're just going to start highlighting squares that no piece attacks. This is attacked. We're not going to highlight it. We're only highlighting squares that are not attacked. This is attacked by the bishop. This is attacked by the rook. Not attacked, not attacked, not attacked, not attacked, not attacked. Right? We're going through the whole board here. These are all attacked. C5 isn't, C7 isn't. B5 isn't, B6 is because we're going that way. B8, A7, I think that's it. Let me just double check. Maybe I missed something. Did I just highlight every single square on the chessboard that is not attacked? I believe I did. Okay. A very simple exercise, but if you do this enough, once you get into the game, you're just overall vision of the board and not getting tunnel vision and missing the rook way over there in the distance, this can help. This can help a lot. All right. So that's the first thing. I'm just making sure I got this right, because posting a video where I'm doing my own exercise wrong would be a little embarrassing. But I think we got it. I think we got it. And we're not highlighting pieces. I mean, I guess you could, but I don't highlight pieces that aren't attacked. I just highlight the empty squares. You could also mix it up and do like 4 queens. Okay, what squares are not attacked here? Right? Let me know in the comment section the list of squares that are not attacked, that are safe in this position. And finally, I have doing really easy puzzles. What I do, you can go to puzzles, go to custom. Here I have a range of 100 to 1500. You could do all themes. You could do, I mean, hanging piece. This is a good one to do. Like some of these, I don't know, guys. Like let's just queen sacrifice. I'm only going to do queen sacrifice puzzles. Like, okay, you know it's going to be a queen sacrifice every single time, and you know the same thing for a hanging piece, but you want to get to the point where you can find the answer instantaneously in a single moment. The moment you see, oh, thanks chess.com. The moment you see the position, you already know what's hanging, right? And some of these, they're going to be a little bit different, right? So like in this case here, Okay, nothing is directly hanging, but if we take this rook and they end up capturing back, okay, game over, right? I also have a video on doing really easy puzzles over and over and over again. Make sure to go check that out. I'll leave that in the description below. This can really help you guys that are trying to minimize blunders and improve your elo, get better at chess, and stop blundering. Subscribe for more content. I'll see you on the next video. Peace. I wanted to finish this video out by giving a shout out to my Patreon supporters, including Walter, Rob, Ray, Roger, and Jerry. I appreciate y'all a ton, as well as the rest of my Patreon community. If you guys haven't checked out the Patreon before, make sure to go check it out. There's some exclusive benefits that you gain by becoming a member, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.